All right, so today we're taking a deep dive into the mind of Naval Ravikant.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah, unpacking his wisdom from the Almanack, meticulously compiled by Eric Jorgenson.
Right.
So this isn't, your typical self-help deep dive. We're talking about
Yeah,
actionable insights on building wealth and designing a life you love.
absolutely. And I think that's what sets Naval apart. He's not about platitudes or get-rich-quick schemes.
Right.
He's a builder, an investor, someone who's walked the walk.
Yeah.
And what I find fascinating is how he cuts through the noise and zeroes in on fundamental principles that frankly apply whether you're in Silicon Valley or starting out anywhere.
Okay, so the Almanac is structured in 3 parts, and today we're tackling the first, building wealth.
Okay.
And right off the bat, Naval makes this distinction between wealth, money, and status.
Yeah,
It's easy to conflate those, especially in a world obsessed with social media.
absolutely. It's everywhere.
Yeah. So why is that distinction so important?
Well, he argues that chasing status can actually be a distraction from building real wealth. Okay.
So imagine someone obsessed with appearing successful, right? They might spend all their income on flashy things to impress others,
Right.
but have no real assets working for them behind the scenes.
Yeah, that makes sense. So how does Naval define wealth then?
So for Naval, wealth is about owning assets that generate income even while you sleep.
I like that.
Think of it like a tree bearing fruit. You put in the initial work to plant and nurture it,
Yeah.
but then it continues to produce even when you're not actively tending to it.
So it's not about constantly hustling, but setting things up so your money works for you.
Exactly. It's about creating systems that generate wealth.
Now, he keeps hammering on this idea of ownership, right?
Right? Ownership is key.
But how do we actually build those wealth-generating assets?
He's adamant that you won't get rich renting out your time. You need to own equity.
Yep.
A piece of the pie, so to speak.
So give me an example. How does that actually play out in the real world?
Let's say you're passionate about craft coffee, right?
You could work as a barista, but you're limited by how many hours you can work.
Right.
But if you own the coffee shop, or even a small percentage of it, you benefit from the entire enterprise.
So even if you're not running the day-to-day operations,
Yeah.
you're still reaping the rewards of the business's success.
Precisely. And this is where leverage comes in.
Leverage.
Yeah, Naval argues that leverage is the key to multiplying your efforts and ultimately your wealth.
Now, when we hear leverage, we often think of financial tools like loans. But Naval seems to have a much broader definition.
You're right. He talks about different types of leverage.
Okay.
There's capital, which is essentially money working for you.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also labor leverage, having other people work for you.
Okay.
But the real game changers, especially in today's world, are code and media.
Code and media. Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me.
It's fascinating.
How are those forms of leverage?
Think about it. If you create a piece of software or a piece of content that resonates, it can work for you 247 reaching millions of people
Wow.
without needing you to physically be there every step of the way.
That's powerful.
It's permissionless leverage, meaning you don't need anyone's approval to start using it.
So a blog post, a YouTube video, an app, these are all potential assets
exactly.
that can generate income even while you're sleeping. That's a powerful concept.
It is.
But isn't there a catch?
Sure.
Not everyone who writes a blog post becomes a millionaire.
True, which brings us to another key element of Naval's wealth-building philosophy.
Okay.
Specific knowledge. He argues that true leverage comes from combining your unique skills and experiences to create something valuable in the marketplace.
Specific knowledge, that sounds pretty abstract. Can
Yeah.
you give me a concrete example?
Imagine someone who loves video games and has a knack for coding.
Okay.
They could combine those two passions to create a popular gaming app.
Right.
Or someone who's obsessed with vintage fashion could build an online marketplace for curated vintage finds. They're leveraging their specific knowledge, their unique blend of passion and expertise.
So it's about finding that intersection of what you're good at, what you love, and what people are willing to pay for.
Absolutely. It's not about chasing trends or copying what everyone else is doing.
Right.
It's about unearthing your own unique value proposition, something that can't be easily replicated. That's what gives you an edge in a crowded market.
He also talks about the importance of accountability in this whole equation.
Yeah, accountability is huge for him.
It might sound counterintuitive, but he actually encourages taking business risks under your own name.
He does. He believes that accountability, while daunting, ultimately leads to greater rewards and responsibility.
Right.
Think of it this way. When you put your name on the line, you're forced to up your game.
Yeah.
People know it's you, and that builds a level of trust and credibility that's hard to replicate otherwise.
That's interesting. It's like the difference between working on a project anonymously
Yeah.
versus having your name and reputation attached to it.
Right.
The stakes are higher, but so is the potential payoff.
Exactly. And Naval isn't just talking the talk.
Yeah.
He's built his entire career in the public eye, putting his ideas and reputation out there for the world to judge.
Right.
That takes guts, but it's also what sets him apart.
So taking ownership, leveraging your efforts, cultivating specific knowledge,
Yes.
all while embracing accountability, that seems to be Naval's recipe for building wealth.
It's a powerful combination.
Yeah, it is. All right, so we've just scratched the surface here.
We have a lot more to uncover.
In the next part of our deep dive, we'll explore how Naval's wealth-building principles tie into his equally fascinating ideas about happiness and fulfillment. So stay tuned.
I can't wait.
Okay, I'm really intrigued by this idea that wealth isn't just about money, you know?
Right.
It's about setting up these systems that work for you.
Yeah.
But let's be honest. What good is all that wealth if you're not happy? That seems to be a big part of Naval's philosophy as well.
Absolutely. Happiness is a huge focus for him.
Yeah, so what's his take on it? Because it seems like he kind of flips the script on the whole, like, pursuit of happiness thing.
He doesn't see it as something you chase externally, but as an internal state. A choice you cultivate.
So not about that dream vacation or finally getting that promotion?
No, it's not about those external achievements.
That's pretty radical.
He believes true happiness comes from inner peace and freedom from expectations.
Wow.
He even goes so far as to say he doesn't dwell on the past at all.
Really?
No memories or regrets, almost like wiping the slate clean each day.
That's intense. I can see how letting go of baggage could be liberating.
Yeah.
But isn't there value in learning from our past experiences?
He's not saying to ignore lessons learned,
Okay.
but to avoid getting stuck in those loops of what if or I should have.
Right.
It's about quieting that monkey mind chatter and being present.
Yeah, being present, something we all struggle with.
Oh, absolutely, especially in our hyper-connected world.
My phone's a constant source of distraction. So for Naval, is happiness just about being mindful and present?
It's a big part of it, but he also makes this interesting distinction between joy and peace.
Okay.
He says he prioritizes peace over joy.
That does seem counterintuitive. Isn't joy the goal?
Right, we're all chasing joy.
Yeah, what's so great about just being peaceful?
Think about it, joy is often fleeting, dependent on external circumstances.
Okay.
You get a promotion, you feel joyful, that fades.
Right.
Peace, on the other hand, is a deeper, more stable state. It's not reliant on external validation or achievements.
So it's about finding that inner contentment.
Exactly.
Regardless of what's happening around you. I can see how that'd be valuable,
It is.
especially in a world that's constantly trying to pull you in different directions.
Yeah, there's so much noise.
But isn't there a risk of becoming complacent, lacking motivation if you're just content all the time?
That's where purpose comes in.
Purpose. Okay.
Naval believes in having a strong internal purpose.
Okay.
Something aligned with your values, not something imposed from the outside.
I-
That's what drives you forward, but from a place of inner alignment, not external pressure.
So you're not chasing someone else's definition of success.
Exactly, you're following your own path.
I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together.
Yeah.
You build wealth to gain freedom and autonomy. You cultivate inner peace and purpose to be truly happy.
It's all connected.
But the world's full of distractions and temptations. How do we avoid getting pulled off track?
He's pretty blunt about one major pitfall, envy.
Envy.
Yeah, he sees it as a happiness killer. We've all been there.
Oh, yeah.
Scrolling through social media, comparing ourselves to others,
Yes, the worst.
feeling inadequate.
Totally a recipe for feeling like you're never enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how do we combat this envy trap?
Yeah, just quit social media cold turkey.
That's one approach, and he does advocate for minimizing social media use.
Okay.
But it's also about reframing your perspective.
How so?
Instead of focusing on what others have, focus on your own path, your own definition of success. Remember those curated online personas.
Oh, yeah.
Often don't reflect reality.
So, easier said than done, though, right?
It is. It takes practice.
But I get it. It's about defining your own values, your own goals,
Yeah.
and not getting caught up in the comparison game. Does he offer any practical tips for actually cultivating this inner peace and happiness?
He does. He's a big believer in the power of positive interpretations.
Okay.
Instead of focusing on the negative, he challenges himself to find the positive spin on every situation.
So, like, if your flight gets delayed,
Yeah,
you use that time to catch up on reading or finally finish that podcast episode.
exactly. He also emphasizes getting enough sunlight,
Yeah.
minimizing sugar and alcohol intake,
Right.
and cultivating genuine connection with people who share your values.
So, simple things, but they make a big difference.
They really do.
It's interesting how those practical tips kind of tie back to his wealth-building principles as well.
How so?
Like minimizing unnecessary expenses, like excessive sugar or alcohol. That's a form of financial discipline.
It is.
And surrounding yourself with the right people is crucial for both personal and professional success.
Absolutely, you're getting it.
Yeah.
Naval's philosophy is all about creating a holistic approach to life, where your external achievements and internal state are aligned
Yeah.
and support each other.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Building wealth through ownership and leverage.
Right.
Finding happiness through inner peace and purpose. It's all starting to click together.
It is. It's all connected.
But let's get to the part I know we're all eager for.
Yeah.
The actionable takeaways.
The good stuff.
How do we actually put all this wisdom into practice?
Well, one of the most powerful takeaways from the Almanac is the importance of judgment.
Judgment, okay.
In a world overflowing with information and opportunities, making sound decisions is more crucial than ever.
Especially with all this talk of leverage.
Right.
It seems like amplifying the wrong choices could be disastrous.
Exactly. Naval says wisdom is about understanding the long-term consequences of your actions. And judgment is simply wisdom applied to external problems.
I like that.
It's about seeing the bigger picture, thinking several steps ahead, and making choices that align with your long-term goals.
So it's not just about working hard, but working smart.
Yes.
Knowing which opportunities to seize and which ones to pass on.
Exactly.
How do we cultivate that kind of judgment?
Naval is a voracious reader, and he believes reading is the foundation of good judgment.
Reading.
Yeah. It's how you acquire knowledge, broaden your perspectives, and develop mental models for making better decisions.
He actually says that reading is faster than listening and doing is faster than watching.
He does.
Makes you want to put down the phone and pick up a book.
For sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
And he's not just talking about business books or self-help guides.
No.
He encourages exploring a wide range of topics,
He does.
even things that might seem unrelated to your immediate goals.
You never know where you'll find that spark of insight or connect seemingly disparate ideas.
He even says the best book is the one you'll actually finish, even if it's considered junk food by some.
Right. It's about cultivating that love of learning, that intellectual curiosity.
Absolutely. But it's not just about passively absorbing information.
Yeah.
You have to apply it, experiment, and inevitably make mistakes along the way.
Yes.
Which brings us to another key takeaway. Embracing failure.
Yes. Failure, a crucial part of the journey.
That seems to go against everything we're taught, right?
It does.
Avoid failure at all costs,
Yeah.
get good grades, follow the rules.
The traditional path.
Yeah.
But Naval sees it differently. He views failure as an inevitable part of the journey, a crucial stepping stone to success. He's had his share of setbacks and failed ventures,
Yeah.
but he learned invaluable lessons from each experience. It's about having the resilience to get back up and keep experimenting.
He even makes the point that even a failed entrepreneur has acquired more valuable skills than someone who's never tried anything at all.
Right, exactly. It's about adopting a growth mindset, seeing yourself as a work in progress, constantly learning and evolving.
And that evolution should be guided by our core values, right?
Absolutely. Values are the compass that guides our decisions.
Okay, values. This feels like the glue that holds everything together.
It is.
It's about figuring out what truly matters to you
Mm-hmm.
and making decisions that align with those principles.
Exactly.
I love that quote he shares from Charlie Munger.
Oh, yeah.
To find a worthy mate, be worthy of a worthy mate.
Such a good one.
And it applies to all kinds of relationships, not just romantic ones.
Right.
Finding collaborators, mentors, friends. It all starts with being the kind of person you want to attract.
Absolutely. Your values will attract like-minded people.
And that brings us to Naval's ultimate message, one that I find incredibly empowering.
What's that?
You are uniquely qualified at something.
Ooh, I love this one.
You have some specific knowledge, capability, and desire that nobody else in the world possesses.
It's about owning your unique gifts.
So instead of trying to fit into a mold or be someone else, it's about embracing what makes you you and sharing that with the world.
Beautifully said.
That's a beautiful idea.
It is the Almanack of Naval Ravikant, offers a roadmap for creating wealth, finding happiness, and making decisions that lead to a fulfilling and meaningful life.
Right? It's not just about the money or the achievements.
No.
It's about aligning your actions with your values and creating a life that truly reflects who you are.
It's a holistic approach.
Yeah, and remember, this deep dive has only scratched the surface.
Yeah, we've just touched on some key highlights.
We encourage you to explore the Almanack for yourself and discover the insights that resonate most with you.
It's a treasure trove of wisdom.
It's a journey of self-discovery and growth that's well worth taking.
Couldn't agree more.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll catch you on the next one.
See you then.